Marketing teams generally run a few campaigns every quarter. One or two of those does really well. Maybe one underperforms and one just kind of gets average results. That's pretty normal. But the gap between those outcomes is how everything is connected. When campaigns, channels, and decisions are not pointing in the same direction, even good execution does not give 100% results. You need to make sure every campaign is tied to a clear business outcome. In this video, I'll break down how to build a marketing strategy in 2026 step by step. If you are a marketer or a CEO or a founder at a SaaS or growth stage business, you will get a lot of value out of this. A marketing strategy is a plan that connects your marketing to your business goals. It is about deciding who you are trying to reach, how you want to show up in the market, and which channels actually make sense for your customers. A marketing strategy ensures that all marketing activities are pulling in the same direction. Teams that are organized and clear about their goals perform significantly better than those who are not. This is because they are more focused about what they are trying to achieve. Without a clear strategy, teams end up reacting to whatever is happening in the moment instead of building consistent, predictable growth. A marketing strategy is the long-term direction. Think 12 to 36 months. It is about where you choose to compete, who you are trying to win with, and what makes you meaningfully different so you are not just another option in the market. Through a marketing strategy, we try to answer a few important questions. Who are we really targeting? How are we going to compete? What do we want people to think of us? Now let's talk about a marketing plan. This is the execution layer. It is usually quarterly or yearly, and it breaks the strategy into campaigns, content, channels, budgets, and timelines. It answers what you're going to do next, where the money goes, and what gets shipped. So strategy sets the direction and the marketing plan makes it happen. Don't skip the first part and jump straight into tactics. Before you build a strategy, you need to understand where you are today. Look at the business performance first. What is growing? What is slowing down? Where is revenue actually coming from? Then look at your customers. Who are your best customers? Why do they buy and why do they stay? Now you can evaluate your current marketing. Which channels are producing results? Which campaigns consistently underperform? Where are you spending time and budget without seeing meaningful returns? You should also assess your brand perception. How does the market see you today? What do customers associate with your business? And how different are you from your competitors? Now that you know what goes into a marketing strategy, let me share with you the step-by-step process to build your marketing strategy in 2026. Talk to your market and start with your customers. Ask them why they chose you, what problem they were trying to solve, and what almost stopped them from buying. Then talk to the deals you did not win. Lost opportunities usually tell you more than the wins. You will start to see patterns such as missing features, pricing concerns, unclear messaging, or just better positioning from competitors. Look at your competition and try to understand how they are showing up in the market and where they are strong or weak. Your goal here is to understand what's actually happening in the market so your strategy is based on reality and not on internal assumptions. You need to turn business goals into clear marketing targets. Start with what the business actually needs, like revenue growth, expansion, or customer retention, and then translate into what marketing has to deliver to support it. For example, if your goal is 40% revenue growth, marketing might need to generate significantly more qualified leads and not just more website traffic or visibility. Avoid vague goals that you cannot measure. I recently did a video where I talked about this in detail. I'll put the link here somewhere. When objectives are specific, it becomes much easier to make decisions, allocate budget, and know what success actually looks like. Get really clear on who you are actually trying to win. Instead of treating the market as one big group, break it into few specific segments. Each group should have similar needs, similar behavior, and a similar way of making buying decisions. Then comes the important part of deciding where to focus. Not every segment is worth the same effort. Some are bigger opportunities and some are easier to win, and some just fit your product better than others. So you prioritize based on three important things. One, how big the opportunity is, where you have an advantage, and where you're most likely to actually win. You cannot serve everyone the same way, and trying to do that will weaken your message everywhere. You need to be focused to make your positioning stronger and make your marketing more effective. You also need to understand who you are competing against. Look at both direct and indirect competitors, how they are positioning themselves, what messages are they using, which channels are they investing in, what strengths do they emphasize? And most importantly, where are the gaps? Many businesses spend too much time copying competitors and not enough time identifying opportunities competitors are ignoring. You should try to find places where you can be different and more relevant to your ideal customers. You need to get clear on why someone should choose you over everyone else. Write it in a simple way first. What problem do you solve? How you solve it? And what makes your approach different? Don't assume it is right. Test it with real customers. Ask them, is this actually why they chose us? Does this speak to the problem you were trying to solve at the time? Does it feel accurate or does something feel off? I have seen marketers skip this step and end up with messaging that sounds good internally but does not really land in the real world. Keep refining it until it sounds like something your customers would naturally say when they explain why they chose you. At this point, you need to make choices. Which customer segments deserve the most attention? Which markets offer the biggest opportunity? Which products or services should receive the most investment? And just as importantly, what are you choosing not to follow or pursue? Strategy is about focusing resources where they can create the biggest or the greatest impact. Choose where you're actually going to show up. Don't try to be everywhere. Pick a small number of channels that genuinely reach your target customers. For each channel, ask yourself, does this help us reach the right people? And does it realistically drive the outcome we want, given our time, budget, and team? Then think about how those channels work together. Content can bring people in, and paid advertising can capture existing demand. Email can keep people engaged over time. Events or direct outreach can help close bigger deals. Your goal here is not to run channels separately, but to make them support each other so the whole system works as one. You want to put your money and people where they actually make a difference. Once you know which channels matter most, don't treat everything equally. Some channels will consistently bring in better results than others, and those deserve more focus, budget, and talent. At the same time, your marketing team should reflect your strategy, not the other way around. If content is a big driver, you need strong writers and creators. But if events are a key growth channel, you need people who can plan and run events well. If you are heavy on digital and paid, you need people who understand data and performance. Your structure should support what you have decided to focus on and not spread everyone thin across everything. You take everything you have decided and map it across the year, quarter by quarter. What gets launched first? What needs to be built before something else can work? And what depends on what? Then you set clear milestones such as launch dates, campaign deadlines, and simple performance targets so you know if things are actually working or not. And you need to build in regular check-ins. A plan only works if you keep coming back to it, adjusting it, and making sure execution is still aligned with the direction you set. Make sure you can actually see what's working. Before anything goes live, set up your tracking properly. Make sure your analytic tools are configured, your key metrics are being captured, and you know what your starting point is. If you don't know where you began, you cannot really measure progress. Build simple reporting that everyone understands. Don't fall for complex dashboards. Just have clear visibility into what's moving and what is not. And then set a rhythm for review. Look at performance regularly, not once a year when it's too late to fix anything. It is very important to have monthly check-ins, quarterly reviews, and yearly planning sessions. Make sure marketing is always learning. Do not run it on autopilot. Before we talk a little bit more about 2026 marketing strategy, let's cover some of the most common mistakes I see. Running ads, publishing content, or launching campaigns is not a marketing strategy. Those are execution activities. The broader your target audience becomes, the weaker your message usually gets. The third mistake I see is copying competitors. Your goal is to create a meaningful difference. Traffic, clicks, and impressions matter far less than revenue, customer acquisition cost, retention, and pipeline growth. Artificial intelligence is incredibly useful, but it should improve decision making. It should not replace strategic thinking. While the fundamentals of marketing still apply in 2026, a lot has changed. AI is no longer optional. It has become part of the foundation. And it's not just about speeding up tasks or writing first drafts. The real value of AI is how it helps you see things you would miss on your own. I'm talking about patterns in customer behavior, shifts in performance, and signs that tell you what to double down or fix early. Artificial intelligence also helps you personalize at scale, test ideas faster, and improve campaigns while they are still running. When used the right way, AI does not replace thinking. It gives you better inputs, faster feedback, and more clarity so you can make better decisions in marketing. How people search is changing fast. More and more buyers are not going through the same search paths they used to before. They're getting answers directly from AI tools and other recommendation sources. They're often skipping traditional search results altogether. That means the old way of just targeting keywords is not enough anymore. What matters now is creating content that actually matches what the buyer is trying to solve. It's not just what they're trying to search or typing in a Google search engine or somewhere else. This shift rewards depth and usefulness over sheer volume. Marketing is shifting away from chasing massive reach at all costs. Instead of trying to get in front of everyone, more and more brands are focusing on smaller, more meaningful spaces, or tight-knit communities, trusted voices inside the business, and real in-person experiences. I want you to understand that influence does not always come from scale, it comes from trust. Employees sharing real stories, niche groups talking about real problems, and face-to-face moments and events or meetups carry more weight than a broad ad campaign that nobody really remembers. When people don't trust you yet, everything costs more. But when your brand already feels clear and credible, things get easier. Your ads don't have to work as hard to get attention. Your landing pages don't need to over-explain. And your emails feel more familiar, so people are more likely to open and respond. It's the same marketing, but with very different results depending on the level of trust you have built before the click. The old reliance on third-party cookies is also fading. That means you cannot depend on borrowed data the way you used to. The focus has to shift to building your own sources of insights and things you can actually control. That includes your email list, your community, how people use your product, and the feedback you collect directly from customers. The strongest marketing systems are built on direct relationships and first-hand data from your own audience. Before I wrap it up, I want to give you a few final pointers. Before anything else, you need clarity on three things: who you are targeting, what value you actually deliver, and where you stand compared to everyone else in the market. Without that, marketing turns into scattered activity, such as a mix of campaigns, content, and ideas that don't really connect or build on each other. You end up spending money and effort, but it's hard to see what's actually driving growth. But when the foundation is clear, everything else gets easier. Your messaging is sharper, your decisions are faster, and your marketing starts working as a system instead of random output. Marketing success should be measured by what it actually does for the business. That means looking at things like revenue driven by marketing, how much it costs to acquire a customer, and whether your share of the market is growing over time. These are the numbers that show real impact. Open rates, clicks, and other surface level metrics can be useful, but they don't tell the full story. They matter less if they are not translating into revenue or growth. At the end of the day, the question is simple. Is marketing helping the business grow? Marketing works best when everything is connected. Your content, ads, emails, and events should support each other. For example, content can bring people in. Paid media can put your message in front of the right audience faster. Email can keep them engaged over time. And events can help turn interest into real conversation. When these channels are aligned, the impact is much stronger than any one channel working alone. Instead of separate campaigns, you get one system that reinforces itself at every stage. Use data and automation to make better decisions faster. Instead of waiting weeks to understand what's working, predictive tools can help you spot patterns early, like which campaigns are gaining traction, which audiences are most engaged, and where performance is starting to drop. You can also use automation to adjust things in real time, whether that's personalized messaging, shifting budgets, or improving campaign performance while they are still running. The idea here is to remove the delay between insight and action so you can respond while it still matters. Have a beautiful day.